Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Omori. So, we have to find where Aubrey is now that we have our little, IRL quest to go find Basil's notebook. Photo book.
Have you checked the hospital?
Yeah, that would be.
Not for nothing. Does anyone else see the tree shaking?
Yes.
The tree's cold. Somebody help this tree.
Punch.
What? Who's that?
That's Heracross.
Oh. Here we go.
Or Hootutu.
Hi, Butch. Tunnel snakes rule? No?
Wait, could you get hoo-hoo from headbutting a
That
tree?
night, yeah.
That night? Okay. So it's not the mon you wanted to see, basically.
Oh, no, I think you could get it during the day, too, and if you got it during the day, it was asleep.
Okay.
See, these are the kind of jokes that only boomers are going to get. And I can say that because I'm a boomer and even I don't get it.
We're not boomers.
Until you explain it. We are absolutely boomers when it comes to video games. Come on.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely not. Oh, this poor guy is getting fucking Mike Wazowski'd by the the command prompt on the top.
So, yeah, these are IRL battles. You don't have to win any of them to progress the plot, thankfully, so...
Yeah, because like at least in the dream world, you have like fantastical abilities because of your setting in IRL. What do you have besides fists and balls and knives? Very mundane shit by comparison, except maybe the knife.
You know, I gotta admire the gumption of anyone who styles their hair in a pompadour this day and age, because yikes. That is.
I mean, I don't have the hair to rock it, so you do you.
I mean, that's some dedication to self-expression. Picking something that absolutely no one on Earth still alive thinks is good. You know, it would be like dressing up in an aristocratic coat and breeches with high heels.
I was gonna say it's like men wearing high heels.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about earlier.
I was thinking more of the entire old school aristocratic look.
Well, I don't know.
If you just wear high heels, no one's going to get the point. You have to look snooty.
If I were to walk down the street and I saw someone rocking a pompadour, like obviously it'd catch my eye, but I wouldn't think anything of it.
I would assume they were going to a cosplay convention. You know?
I mean, that's the easy assumption, yeah. But if I don't know at the end of the day. But if I saw someone rocking a pompadour, like I'd stare for a second, yeah. But I was like, yeah, whatever. At least they have hair, you know. Ryan, you should rock a pompadour. You're already kind of halfway there.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the way to kind of get it all.
Well, you have to style.
Like
no
that.
one naturally has a pompadour. You have to style it that way specifically.
Yeah.
Every day.
No, I was at that point you just get like a plastic mold of a pompadour and just put it on your head. Like,
I love thinking of all these hard ass delinquent street punks back in the day taking an hour in the morning to style their hair.
Yeah, I think that's Greece. I think you're just describing Greece.
No, in Greece they sing while they do it.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep himself busy, I guess.
Greece is the longest singing in the shower episode I've ever seen. I've never actually watched that front to back, by the way, but boy did I know about it back in the day.
Yeah, my mom loved Grease growing up, and I haven't watched it front to back in a long time myself, but I didn't hate it. I thought it had good musical pieces.
Well, I mean, I've never watched it front to back, but there was always like every couple of weeks I would go over to someone's house and they'd have it playing in the background. And I'd get the music stuck in my head, and it's the kind of music that you don't want stuck in your head, but gets there stuck there anyway.
Yeah, because Grease is the word.
Anyway. It's also just a weird movie for me on a few occasions I've seen any amount of it. Because it sort of harkens back to a different era of high school culture that I never experienced.
Yeah.
So high school culture as depicted by 30-years.
Well, the also weird thing about Grease itself is because it's based off of a play, if I recall correctly, or based off of a book. I'm not entirely sure on it.
I think a play.
But it's supposed to be like set in the 50s, but like most of its music, especially the opening, sounds right out of 70s. I was like, oh, well, that's not right. I mean, it's good.
because of that, I feel like I'd appreciate it a bit more nowadays. That entirely because I've experienced the Fallout series.
Yeah.
Which has the same sort of aesthetic. In fact, one of the very first characters you meet in Fallout 3 is a guy with a pompadour. It's Butch, the Tunnel Snakes guy that I mentioned when the other pompadour showed up. It's the only pompadour I have reference to. I'm sorry.
I just think of JoJo.
Also, in Fallout New Vegas, there's an entire street gang comprised of Elvis Presley impersonators who know nothing at all about who Elvis Presley actually was and just know that he was called the King, so they assume that he was worshipped as a god. And the story pulls that off. It's amazing. Also, the King has a cyborg dog who can join you as a party member. Fallout. Okay. I'm actually not supposed to give out medication like this, but I'm going to do it for you kids because...
I know what you do to other kids if you don't. Because Aubrey's here right now dressing her wound from that knife that you stabbed her with.
I like how, because it's an RPG, we have to go to the consultation desk to buy stuff that should be on the shelves.
No, I mean, but there's only so much medicine that's over the counter, or everything else you have to get a prescription for.
The bandages and first aid kits included?
They're high quality bandages.
They got the good stuff applied to the pad.
Yeah, just don't ask about the medical bill.
At the same time, I can't really criticize RPGs for doing this because I've experienced the other way. You know, I've played Shenmue, and I've played Daggerfall. In fact, I'm currently playing Daggerfall. In that game, whenever you go into a shop, you have to check every possible shelf in the place to see what they have stocked. And you can only buy the specific stuff from that specific shelf at that specific shelf.
That's very realistic.
Shenmue, on the other hand, was all about the simulation, so you had to go like individually pick an item off the shelf with your hand in a first-person view. It was charming. And probably only worked because you didn't actually have to buy stuff all that often.
What the fuck?
Why does this creepy guy look like a Stardew Valley grandma?
Why does he speak in such an elaborate language?
Prepare to be embellished.
Dude, there's just something funny about getting fucking flashbanged with photorealistic rocks. Like, even before the title screen shows up.
It's kind of reminding me of what happens when you play Katawa Shoujo with the adult content turned off. Because when the sex scene is supposed to happen, what they'll do is they'll show an image of food, and it'll be thumping at you like a heart. Because you see, it's a visual metaphor for the acts of copulation. It's also hilarious, and it kind of ruins the tone of the moment. To be honest,
I'm gonna fornicate that French fry.
Okay, so why is it that you're the only pet rock with a pet rock? Why does everyone else have these stupid evolved Yu-Gi-Oh?
I think it's because they don't know just how uncool pet rocks are. Because I mean, even in the 70s, that shit was considered why the fuck do you have this? I mean, you could at very least attach googly eyes to it to give it some form of emotion. But
this is seriously making me think of Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 or the early manga comics. Because
wait, was there a pet rock in there?
There was a digital pet battle episode.
Oh, I thought there was like a pet rock that I did not know about. Because I actually just reread all of Season 0 in the Shonen Jump app. And I don't recall a pet rock.
Shiny. You see, I have to dig my actual physical Yu-Gi-Oh! Volumes out to do that, so I barely ever bother.
Not to show because I've said it before, but the Shonen Jump app is actually a really good deal.
It is, yeah.
I can imagine, but, you know, kind of using what little spending money I have on YouTube Premium so I don't get bombarded with frickin' Mickelson twin ads all the time. At some point, you know, I'd really like to see some sort of legislation passed that stops that kind of scam bullshit from being advertised legitimately. But, yeah.
The Maverick. What's the Maverick's actual name?
Mikhail.
Well, you see, that's actually a pretty damn decent name. Why not be proud of that name? Maybe they play Resident Evil 3. Said, no, Mikhail's a bad guy. I'm gonna call myself Maverick.
What the shit?
Tuck your shirt in.
Why is he sparkling? Well, he's obviously doing the asymmetrical, like, smooth talker look. That's why he's got it on. He's got it unbuttoned too.
This is why they call me Maverick, because I only tuck in one half of my shirt.
He thinks he's a ladies' man. He's dressed up like a ladies' man. You know, he's got his chest showing. He's got his shirt untucked on one side, so it gives him that I just got out of bed from sleep.
Well, I'm not a lady, but I wouldn't want to hang out with a man that looks like he smells like a foot.
Well, that's not the point of the look. The point of the look is to make you look like you just rolled out of the sack with some other woman.
That's what I mean, but it's like the point is that you look very unkempt, and if you're unkempt, you probably smell.
Well, there is such a thing as artfully unkempt. I just don't think this guy's pulling.
I don't think there's any artistic integrity. This guy's unkept by AI.
Look, he's also got his clip-on Sony headphone things that you have to specifically buy off the internet because no one sells them in stores anymore.
I used to have those.
So he's also cosplaying as the Persona 3 protagonist.
I used to have those headphones that they had clipped on sideways. They didn't go over your head. They went to the side of your skin.
I did too. I like them, but
yeah, I like them too.
They're wired headphones, so they last like 2 days. Bluetooth forever, maybe.
Yeah, like I'm spoiled by. I'm always gonna have a nostalgic fascination with auxiliary cords because like that's what I've had for the longest time. But
well, if you want something that's utterly lag free, you need something with a cord. But if you're just listening to music, who cares about lag? You know?
Yeah, I need one-to-one listening power.
No, it can't be over for me. People of Earth, lend me your strength.
This is the real world, buddy.
And I thought I was disconnected.
$10? What the fuck? Is he a gigolo?
Yeah, he paid the girls to hang out.
Oh my god.
Hence the really exaggerated Lothario look. Okay.
Oh, he's wearing
Also,
a wig
the blonde
too.
hair's a wig. Yeah.
Mikhail, you're cringe. No, he just dissolves into dust.
I'm just gonna say, speaking as someone who has a vague third-hand idea of what girls think, so probably no idea at all.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they'd find Mikhail more attractive as a name than the Maverick.
Yeah, Maverick is just like, I'm laughing at you. Like, I'm sorry. There's just no coming back from that.
Well, I also genuinely mean they'd probably like the name Mikhail. It sounds sophisticated. It sounds like what you're trying to be.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It was like, Mikhail's a pretty cool name. You should be proud of that.
Is that Aubrey?
No.
Okay.
No, that's just the standee.
Okay. I was going to say, if Aubrey was hiding in plain sight this whole time, that would have been hilarious. Weird, but hilarious. So, in other words, like everything else in this game.
How's it going, nerd?
You don't know me. I mean, this is a small town. We could probably just look around and find her, but...
Everybody lives next to each other.
I see we're playing Daggerfall today. Wait.
Oh, no. The standee has a twin.
Is that Aubrey?
No.
No.
Okay. I
think Aubrey's in the hospital.
Hand over the stolen candy! I love it when RPGs do the all caps thing. When they don't need to. Well, I suppose they do it because, you might be colorblind. But... Oh, and now that I think about it, RPG Maker is really shit for programming in accessibility options.
How do you mean?
I mean, he can't, basically.
Oh, okay.
So, let me see. Trying to think of a recent example. Oh, yeah. The recent example I was thinking of is Katawa Shoujo. it's not RPG Maker. It's actually RenP. But the original game was built on a much older version of RenP, which, apart from not being able to render the game at a decent resolution these days, also doesn't have the flexibility for accessibility options. The game was recently rebuilt, remastered, reported in a version called Re-Engineered, and it's in a newer version of RenP that does have some flexibility for those accessibility options, which is nice, considering it's a game about a bunch of disabled romance options that you can romance at a school for disabled people.
Yeah,
it would be nice if it had accessibility options for disabled people.
That's kind of important. Yeah, it kind of shoots the whole thing in the foot.
But that's just an irony of the old RenP engine. RPG Maker is often the same way. The newer RPG makers might have flexibility for those options built in, but it's hard to say because you don't ever see like really good games for any given version of RPG Maker until the next version has already come out. So I guess we'll wait until RPG Maker Extra or some shit. Just the fact that this is in a 4:3 resolution already tells me that it's probably built in an older RPG Maker. Because one of the selling points of the new versions is, you know, being able to make games for mobile devices and all sorts of modern resolutions and shit. The way I imagine that these ports are running the game is by running by running like a 16:9 window and running RPG Maker inside it as a sort of console port. But, you know, I could be wrong.
I don't know. I got the idea. Like, I kind of got a glance at Vance's sprite in the overworld thing. I was like, they have a mustache or some other shit? And I was like, oh, yeah, this dude is just fucking 40-something years old, I guess. I don't know why. It's like, that was kind of jarring because every other character we've encountered so far has been like of the same age, if not a little slightly older. But this guy is also just double the age of everybody.
He's got that manly stubble that you can only pull off if you have a certain kind of bone structure and you take an hour to trim it every day.
Yeah. Also, shave that singular chest hair off your chest, you fuck. And change your goddamn shirt. Like, this shit's ruffled. Like, it's torn.
I think that's the point, to be honest. He's a street punk guy.
Street punk.
He's trying to look rough and tumble, and he's pulling it off better than Lothario over there, so I'm gonna say, you know, it works, kind of. Except for the pocket full of candy, kind of.
Yeah, that just saps away any sort of menace. Like, because at the very least, like, from a distance, you can pass the lollipop stick in your mouth as a cigarette.
I'm reminded of a gag from a Pokemon animation, a Pokemon Sword and Shield animation about Marnie. Gloria gets it in her head that Marnie is a delinquent because of Team Yell's shenanigans. So she follows Marnie around, and she expects to see her getting up to all kinds of ill-will delinquent stuff, like she's crouching in an alley with something sticking out of her mouth, and Gloria daydreams for a moment about Marnie smoking in a corner, and then she looks over and sees Marnie pull a lollipop out of her mouth. So it's it's fun. That animation's great, by the way, if you can find it. I don't remember what it's called or who made it, so but go watch it. It's good shit. Also, the one by the same person where they're making curry for their Pokemon. I'm not remembering what Marnie's two-tone Pokemon is called right now. Forgive me, but Sword and Shield is not a very memorable game. All right, let's see.
So we beat up everyone in their gang, so we still need to find Aubrey. So
I was gonna say, like, I didn't catch the dialogue, but did they give us the location of Aubrey, or did they just nickel and dimed us?
I do kind of like. I do kind of like how much content they've squeezed into a few street blocks, in contrast to the Dream World, which is all over the fucking place.
Knock knock. No one's home. Check every house.
I like how, because this is a JRPG, every house is really small and a TARDIS, so it's bigger on the inside and yet still not big enough to be an actual house.
Cottage.
It's a Pokemon house.
Yeah.
The first floor is one room entirely, and the second floor is another one room, and you're left wondering, where does Mom sleep?
So yeah, we gotta
There.
help this artist
I have
finish
made
her piece.
I like the dialogue effects, by the way.
Just agree with her.
Inspiration has striketh.
Red or blue?
Oh my god.
Just agree with her.
Like, I understand
Inspiration
that
has
sometimes you
stricken.
have to have peer reviews with this sort of shit, but at the same time, if you're relying on everybody to tell you what to paint this or that, maybe you should consider another line of work.
Maybe you should consider digital art so you can swap layers out.
Yeah, like on a whim.
I mean, I know the computer and the pad are expensive, especially if you
Yeah.
go for a pad with a screen on it, which is a lot easier to draw on, but, you know.
And there is something to be said about, keeping it traditional, like using actual paint on canvas. I can't do that. But still.
You make one little mistake and the whole thing is
Yeah,
fucked.
it's over. Yeah.
Like a Daggerfall playthrough where you got sick mid-dungeon and forgot to save before entering the dungeon. And then you had to roll a new character halfway through the game. Ugh. Nobody wants to deal with that shit. In video games or art.
Dude, if the pipe is leaking that bad, turn the fucking valve. Like, turn the water off.
I think he wants to shower in it.
Nope, didn't work.
Repent. Try again tomorrow. What the fuck?
You're just gonna leave it like that?
That is a very dire situation. You have to at least turn the water valve off.
That is going to rot through the goddamn floor. God damn. Jesus Christ, man.
There won't be a floor when you wake up tomorrow. Fucking idiot.